Hello. Sorry, I'm just a tad late. That's what happens when you get distracted on other things.
Hello, Brother Louis.
Hello, Summer. How are
Hi.
you doing?
Good. I just want to ask a question about I cannot share because I'm on my phone, so I cannot share the screen with you. But it's last week's uh not the access, but the what also
Yeah.
the last week's you know somehow I couldn't uh remember what's this called, like the excess and then the other one.
Yeah,
Like you
there's a
have to
quiz access and then the
oh
regular
quiz,
quiz.
yes, quiz. The regular quiz number 9,
Uh-huh.
question number 9.
Okay. Well, let me hold on. Let me share my screen and go right there. Hello, Amy. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are y'all?
Excellent. Thank you. Let's see what we got here. Do finance. There we go. Quiz. McGraw. Okay, last week should be here.
Yeah.
Quiz access number 9,
No, not quiz access, quiz.
the quiz. Number 9. Okay, it's asking you for key financial statement figures, prepare a table, show the adjustments necessary. What is the correct, the total error in combined net income? Okay.
So yeah, so my mistake was on year 3
Okay.
because there was year 1, year 2, year 3. Like year 1, year 2, I was confused, but then like I look at the book and kind of figure it out. But then year 3, I just couldn't figure it out.
Okay. So it's asking to see the company recently discovered that in making physical counts of inventory, it had made the following errors. Year 1, ending inventory is understated by 61,000. So year 1, okay. And year 2, ending inventory is overstated by 31,000, which means that year 3, there is no change. All right, so then you're going to look through here and you're going to figure out where the errors are. Right, so the 61,000, it was, let's go back here to Excel real quick. I think I did this last week as well. Show how in the videos show how that overstatement works out. So what was that? First one was a $61,000. Okay, let's do this. So we'll just say inventory. This is the actual, see, this is what as is, and then this is what the actual as reported. This is the actual. So in our little scenario that we did last week, we said something like, okay, let's say if it's $100,000, that's it. Let me make some things here. And it is understated. That means that it actually should have been 161, right? So, oops, 161. So this shows an understated of the difference between these two, right? So that's the $61,000 difference. This is year one. And then year two, it is overstated. So let's just say it's overstated. So if we start out with the same $100,000, overstated means that it should have been less. That's overstated. Then it should have been less than that by 31. So that would end up being 69,000. Oops. So that we should see when we subtract these, then we got that. Okay. So what this effectively means, then if we were to do journal entries, that we would want to, if it's understated here, we would be doing a what would we be doing? We'd be doing a debit to let's actually do this a little differently. Debit, credit, and let's just put account here. Wrong one. Account. Okay, so if we were to adjust this, then we would be debiting inventory, right, for 61,000 to adjust it, and then we would be charging that to 61,000 on the cost of goods sold, right? And on year two, if we did the same thing, set this up, then what we would want to do is this would be a debit of 31,000 here, and inventory would be 31,000 here, because we need to bring the balance in inventory down by 31,000, and that would then charge it to COGS, right? So theoretically, then your COGS would show a reduction in year one if you're making the adjustment, and in year two it'd make an increase. Is that what we see here? So year one reported amount is whatever. They show all this is both in COGS, net income, and everything. Okay, so for a cost of goods sold, your reported amount is 736. You're going to do a credit to bring it down, which then needs to be reversed out for the year after that, right? Sorry. So this is year one, and then you have to reverse it out in year two. So what you end up having is the same thing, but just backwards. Oops. Which is where you'll see on this one, year two shows on COGS an increase when you reverse it out. And then this year two adjustment, this is happening in year two, and in year three, the same thing. So we're going to just do the backwards inventory and cost of goods sold. So that shows up there here. So you have in year two, you have inventory, actually you have COGS going up by $31,000. And you have this one being reversed out, and so it's going up by 61,000. So that's where you get this adjustment here. And the last year, this is year three, this $31,000 is reducing COGS for that one. Does that make sense so far?
So for year three, we don't need to um
Yeah, year three, there was theoretically no.
like it doesn't have any, like we don't need to think about the 61,000.
No,
that
because it's
figure,
already
right?
adjusted here between the 2 years. First to correct it for year one,
Just
then
need to use
revise it, then correct it for year two, and then revise it. There was no real adjustment necessary for year 3, is what they were saying. So that's where this plays out, right? There's only 2 errors that it notes. 61, year 1 and year 2. So then the impact is going to be just the opposite for net income. Anytime you increase cost of goods sold, you're going to decrease net income. So you should see just the opposite happening here, right? 61 plus, that's an opposite there. And then these numbers are all opposite of the numbers above. Then the question is total assets. Now, this one probably makes sense because your assets went up for year 1, right? Because they were understated. Year 2, they were overstated. But the funny thing is, year 3, there's no change, right? There's nothing here for year 3 that we had to do. So the reality is at the balance sheet level, there's no change in year 3. It's only at the income statement level that there is a change because you're making the income statement is just a view of a period of time, right? So all the transactions that happened here, this asset base was correct, and therefore all the transactions that happened as a natural course during year 3 are correct. It's just that this adjustment between one period and another had to happen at the COGS level, at the income statement level, not at the equity, at the asset level. And then you would just carry through all your net income statement consolidations into retained earnings down here. And so there's no adjustments that are necessary in year 3 as well. Does that make sense?
Right, I figured that out. Yeah.
Amy, you're kind of cocking your head to the left or the right.
I think I get why that is, but I just like need to think it through a couple more times. So
Yeah, no problem. Let me just state it a little differently. So, they walked you from cost of goods sold down to balance sheet level items, right? But let's just think about the other way around, just as a pure impact to the balance sheet itself. So, in this case, like if we just follow this, if you were to correct the assets for the year, you would add 61,000, right? And if you were to correct the assets for year 2, you would reduce it by 31,000. So these two are, I think, pretty straightforward, just to match things up, right? And then year 3, there was no problems. So you didn't have to do anything to the financials, right, for year 3. Same with equity. Essentially, you just have to do an opposite entry, right? So if I were just to simplify the journal entry, it would be increase assets, right? And therefore increase equity. You have to keep your balance sheet equal. So that's all this is doing on this side. And the same with year 2, you're decreasing assets, so you decrease equity, right? No changes at this level are necessary beyond those two to correct the inventory values. So I think this one's probably the easier part to imagine, right? Just to walk through. The harder part is when you get into these ones where you're doing adjusting journal entries between time periods. You make the adjustment in one period of time, and then you have to back it out the next period of time because then you have to start over again, right? And that's why I just went through this exercise here, which is you take it out and you put it back in. You take it out and you put it back in, because the net effect at the income level for the 3-year periods is 0, right? It's just what period of time is it recognized in? Because there were no problems in year 3. Now, if year 3 had a problem, then that would be a different case. You'd have another entry here to correct for, and then you'd have some entries down here in the balance sheet to correct for. Okay. Summer, does that help out?
Yes,
Take-
yes.
Okay, any other
thank you.
questions?
Hmm.
Summer, did you
I
have
don't have,
anything else?
not really. I just, this one, like that's the only question I have from last week.
Okay, very good.